Welcome to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast, your weekly news roundup of hunting, fishing, trapping, and conservation stories from around the Gem State. Hosted by Fish and Game's Public Information Specialist, Connor J. Lease.
And welcome back to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast. This week we're talking about a Chinook salmon closure, a hunter in East Idaho shoots a grizzly bear in self-defense, and what to do when you catch a tagged fish. But first, just in time for this Memorial Day weekend, if you're new to the concept of seeking out new mountain streams this summer, here are a few pointers to help find the perfect backcountry creekside fishing camp.
Yeah, let's go fishing!
The dog days of summer are fast approaching. As the mercury skyrockets and the sun broils us 15 hours a day, few things are more attractive than leaving town and heading into the mountains to dunk a line and maybe some sweaty feet into a newfound creek or stream. For anglers looking to escape the hustle and bustle of town or potentially crowded lakes and reservoirs, mountain streams are a gateway to peace and quiet. Idaho is full of long, meandering river systems like the Boise, the Big Wood, the Salmon, Clearwater, and St. Joe that provide hundreds of easy, accessible fishing sites. What's often overlooked are the headwaters and tributaries of those famous trout streams, though. They're typically teeming with trout, less crowded, and provide an opportunity for solitude up in the mountains. Now, naming names would defeat the purpose of discovering backcountry streams. It usually doesn't matter what its name is or how narrow it is. Chances are good there are fish to be caught and memories to be made. If you're new to the concept of finding mountain streams to fish, here are some pointers to help find the perfect creekside fishing camp this summer. Firstly, don't overlook those tiny streams trickling through meadows or snowmelt creeks flowing into larger rivers. Often depicted as narrow blue lines on a topographic map, these creeks and streams can provide ideal conditions for fish. Using Google Earth, paper Forest Service maps, or your favorite outdoor GPS app, pull up an area you're wanting to scope out. Maybe drop in a nearby designated campground in the search bar for quick and easy directions. Then narrow in on widely used Forest Service roads that sometimes follow major waterways. Now you've got a starting point. Oftentimes, main roads skirting along a river sprout side roads that traverse smaller creeks and provide any number of camping and pull-off opportunities. Now here's a hot tip for you. You'll often hear experienced anglers talking about pools when it comes to fishing on flowing water. These barely moving, deep pockets along a waterway are where fish like to hang out most of their time. Think knee to chest high water that you'd want to swim around in yourself. When you're traveling along a road in search of a prime fishing spot, this should be the first feature that you're looking for. Lastly, before you embark on a weekend getaway into Idaho's deeper crannies, do your homework. Look for roads that best suit your mode of transportation and comfort level, and follow those blue lines on the map. So stick to wider, more traveled dirt roads for passenger vehicles and four-wheel drive, high-clearance mountain roads for more aggressive rigs. And just because a blue line on a map is pencil thin doesn't mean it won't hold fish. A lot of times, it's where the bite is strongest. When it comes to locating a creek or a stream, bigger doesn't always mean better. By late summer, a lot of the spring runoff is slowed to a crawl, and stream banks are exploding with green grasses and willows. Trout keep a watchful eye out for any insect, ant, or grasshopper that falls into the water and provides a quick meal. While there are times when a hog of a trout winds up on the end of a high country angler's line, the majority of fish found in mountain streams and creeks are going to be modest size. But what they lack in size, they make up for in abundance and eagerness. Lower sections of rivers can get uncomfortably hot for trout during the summer. The upper elevations stay cool and the perfect temperature for trout, which keeps them active and feeding aggressively. Fish in these waterways don't see the same level of angler effort that larger rivers and lowland lakes do. Their growing season is also a lot shorter. Oftentimes, these ravenous fish will go after just about anything you throw in front of them. Anglers looking to head out on a backcountry fishing adventure in search of small streams and creeks should not be lugging around that 9-weight fly rod or a 25-pound test Chinook setup. Instead, you'll want to keep your setup as light as possible. Short, light, and sensitive rods are the ticket for big fun catching small fish. That leads me to my next point, choosing your weapon. There are two basic methods here, fly rod or spin rod. Both are tried and true and rely on different techniques to mimic fish food. Spin rod fishing is slightly more affordable and a lot more approachable for newer anglers who are testing the waters. Not only are spinning rods durable, their compact design allows anglers to cast from even the brushiest of shorelines. And if you've ever snagged a $10 lure on a pine branch, it goes without saying. A 5 to 7 foot spin rod with lightweight line, so like around 4-pound test, is a good starting point. Can be picked up at pretty much any sporting goods store. A few aisles over, and you'll be hit with an almost endless selection of lures, spoons, spinners, and bait to choose from. Remember, keep it simple. Tying on a barrel swivel that connects to a spoon or a spinner is a great way to get a fish's attention. Then add a little piece of worm to sweeten the deal. And keep in mind, alpine river fish like trout and whitefish aren't used to seeing the same angler's same bag of tricks as, say, a 16-inch rainbow down at Arrow Rock Reservoir. Dangle a little flashy lure or maybe a chunk of worm in front of their nose, and they'll hit it like Mike Tyson. Here's another hot tip for you. If fishing with young ones, let their budding fascination with bugs run wild. Think about it. Letting your kids connect with nature by way of both fish and bait is a great way to instill outdoorsmanship in a young mind. If your little fishing buddy manages to capture a grasshopper or a cricket, use it as bait and better your odds at attracting a hungry fish. Fly rods also provide a fun and challenging lesson in stream fishing. In general, a 7 to 9 foot long fly rod spooled with 3 to 5 weight line is a good fit for alpine streams and creeks. Attach some 4X or 5X tapered leader to the end of your line, about 9 to 12 feet worth. Then decide on whether you want to use dry flies or subsurface flies, including nymphs and streamers. Fish in alpine waters can be picky at times, but if you find the right pool at the right time of day, generally early mornings or late afternoons, you might catch them while they're active. Watching a fish go after a fly or lure is one of the most exciting moments in an angler's life. Keep it simple and keep moving. If you don't catch anything in one spot, move up or move downstream. A good strategy is to pick a stretch of water, say a half mile or so, and try to get a lure or fly into every spot that looks quote-unquote fishy. The cool thing about mountain streams and creeks is that they also offer new and experienced anglers and their families abundant opportunities to fish from camp. For families in particular, this is an added benefit. With a streamside camp, children are safe from the road and can roam to their heart's extent, flipping over rocks, collecting treasures, observing wildlife, and maybe even sniff out some insects for bait. It's no secret that Idaho boasts one of the greatest camping opportunities in the country. There's no shortage of public lands, designated campgrounds, dispersed campsites, and roadside pullouts to get yourself front row fishing access right out your camp's back door. When you're researching places to go, look for rivers, streams, and creeks that follow along Forest Service roads. Once you ballpark a location, turn on the satellite image feature and zoom in to look for natural access sites. Roadside pullouts, large meadows, trails, gentle sloping banks, and designated campgrounds can all be found from the air and can be a great place to start. To take your backcountry adventure to the next level, try combining a day of fishing with a night out camping. Pick a spot along a mountain road that feels safe and accessible to the river. That basalt cliff might provide a sweet view at sundown, but it's going to be nearly impossible and unsafe if you're trying to reach the river. Oftentimes, you can find cozy little cutouts with a rock fire ring and ample trees for shade. Once you establish home base for the night, it's time to park the car and rig up the poles. There's one final element to the backcountry stream fishing that can cap off the perfect outdoor experience: eating your catch. Just double check the Idaho Fish and Game Seasons and Rules booklet to make sure harvest is allowed on their stream. The day is finally winding down, and you start to feel the sun's heat give way to the evening mountain shadows. Your skin is cooked and your feet are sore. For those anglers who pleased the fishing gods and walked away with a fish or two for the cooler, the reward for hard work and patience is minutes away from sizzling in a skillet. Last hot tip for you. If you're steering more towards a camping trip, be sure to pack a few essentials in case you do haul in a few fish. A good cast iron skillet with butter and herbs is a choice way to cook up some trout. Alternatively, you can stuff the fish with lemon and butter, then wrap it in a couple layers of aluminum foil to set it over a low fire. There's nothing quite like the taste of a wild-caught fish from mountain waters. Sure, they're not the whopper that's going to land you in the state record books, but they surely will fill up space in your scrapbook. What they lack in size, they make up for in flavors and memories. So next time you're sitting around your streamside campsite wondering how to cure the boredom blues, be sure to include a fishing rod, some basic tackle, lures or flies, and a few kitchen fixins to connect with nature in a fun, new, and delicious way. To learn more and to check out fishing regulations and rules, check out the 2025 through 2027 Idaho Fishing Seasons and Rules booklet available online at our website, at licensed vendors, or at any fishing game office. And if you want to read this guide for yourself, hit the link down in the show notes. Next up, a hunter shot a charging grizzly bear in self-defense near Cave Falls Road. Here's more on that story. On the evening of May 16th, a hunter shot and killed a male grizzly bear in self-defense after it charged him and his young son from a short distance away while they were hunting black bears near the Cave Falls Road on the Caribou-Targhee National Forest just outside of Ashton. The hunters were sitting on the edge of a meadow when a grizzly began crossing it and seemed to pick up their scent. The grizzly then changed direction and headed directly toward the two hunters. As the hunters attempted to alert the grizzly of their presence, it began to charge directly at them. The man fired at the charging bear with his sidearm before quickly switching to his hunting rifle, killing it within 5 yards of where he was standing. The man called the Fremont County Sheriff's Office as soon as he was able and reported the incident. Idaho Fish and Game was notified and immediately responded. After conducting a thorough investigation, it was determined that the hunter acted in defense of life as he and his son were being charged by a bear from a close distance. Grizzly bears are protected under state and federal law, and Fish and Game reminds hunters that grizzly bears may be encountered in the greater Yellowstone area and parts of northern Idaho. Grizzly bears also occasionally visit as far south as the Grangeville area into the Salmon region in central Idaho. To learn more, hit the link to read James Brower's press release on our website. All right, moving on to some Bighorn sheep news. The Idaho Wild Sheep Foundation has recognized Idaho Fish and Game wildlife biologist Hollie Miyasaki with its Outstanding Achievement Award for her exceptional leadership and contributions to bighorn sheep conservation here in Idaho. The award, given only when a truly exceptional contribution has been made, highlights Miyasaki's central role in the development and implementation of Idaho's statewide Imovi Surveillance Action Plan. The plan has guided the capture, sampling, and collaring of bighorn sheep all across Idaho. This work has benefited both Idaho's wild sheep populations and the Idaho Wild Sheep Foundation by generating strong public interest and volunteer engagement. Miyasaki was a primary architect of the action plan, helping develop its framework, coordinating with partners, and carrying it forward into effective field operations. Colleagues and volunteers who have worked alongside her report that she remains fully engaged throughout every step of the process, answering questions, providing direction, collecting biological samples, and ensuring the health and safety of each animal handled out in the field. In addition to her leadership on Imovi surveillance, Hollie played a key role in the successful Jacks Creek bighorn sheep augmentation, an achievement many in the conservation community once thought would be highly unlikely. The Idaho Wild Sheep Foundation emphasized that Idaho's bighorn sheep conservation work would not be where they are today without Hollie's dedication, expertise, and tireless commitment. So, on behalf of all of Idaho Fish and Game, congratulations to Hollie Miyasaki on this well-deserved recognition, and thanks to the Idaho Wild Sheep Foundation for honoring the people working to keep Idaho's wildlife thriving.
You got a Kroger's card?
Whether you were fishing at an urban pond, a wild river, or an alpine lake, that next fish you catch might have a tag in it, and Idaho Fish and Game needs your help reporting it. Fisheries biologists attach what's called T-bar anchor tags to various fish species throughout the state, and when anglers report tagged fish, biologists can learn how many fish in a specific area or population are caught by anglers and can adjust bag limits during season setting years. Tags can also describe fish migrations and are used to compare survival and catch of different types of hatchery-raised fish after they are stocked. Each reported tag provides valuable information about angler catch, survival, and abundance of certain species, which helps biologists manage fish populations for better fishing. Each tag is labeled with a unique number that identifies the fish and how to report it online. If the tag is not a reward tag, you can decide whether to remove it from the fish or leave it and release the fish for the next angler to report another catch. If you plan to leave the tag, record the tag number or take a clear picture of it on your phone. If you choose to clip the tag, use scissors or clippers to avoid yanking it out of the fish. You have two options. You can either report online at tag.idaho.gov or you can call an Idaho Fish and Game regional office. Some fish have reward tags and carry a reward value of $25, $50, $100, or $200. Anglers will see the word reward printed on the tag next to a dollar amount. Reward tags must be removed from the fish by clipping the tag with scissors or clippers and sent to our research office in Nampa. So again, please avoid yanking the tags out of the fish. Fish and Game's Tag Your It program was created in the mid-2000s using tags to estimate angler catch and harvest rates for fish species statewide. Research staff used varying levels of cash reward tags to figure out the reporting rate for non-reward tags. That was the missing piece of information that was necessary to use angler tag reports at a larger scale. The program also won an American Fisheries Society National Sportfish Restoration Award in 2012 and has been a mainstay in Idaho fisheries management ever since. If you want to learn more, hit the link in the show notes or head on over to our website and pull up the Tag Your It webpage. All right, last up, if you got a good set of eyes and a green thumb, you could become a community scientist and help our staff monitor monarch butterflies this summer. The monarch butterfly is an iconic species. Their migrations span thousands of miles, taking upwards of 3 generations of monarchs to complete the journey. Currently, however, their populations are in dire straits due to a wide variety of factors, including drought, pesticides, winter habitat loss, and more. But abundant, healthy summer milkweed habitat, of which caterpillars are 100% reliant, is where Idaho can make the largest contribution to restore monarch butterfly populations. That's where you come in. Fish and Game needs your help to adopt milkweed patches across the Gem State and monitor milkweed throughout the summer. This will be the second season of the statewide milkweed and monarch survey and will build on a successful first season back in 2025. Of the 1,000 patches selected to be surveyed as part of this project, over 400 received surveys last year. And that does not include the hundreds of additional patches surveyed that were previously unknown to Fish and Game. Our goal this year is to reach 1,000 patches surveyed, and we really need your help. The survey kicks off July 1st and goes through August 15th. Volunteer community scientists will need to check their sites 1 to 3 times during this time frame in order to document crucial information like stem counts, health of the patch itself, and count butterflies. Our staff manages a very broad range of wildlife, and monarch butterflies are not exempt from these efforts. The information that you collect will help our agency in any future assessments of milkweed and monarchs for any ESA listing decisions. Fish and Game will be hosting a virtual training webinar on June 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Time. This is a great opportunity to hear more about the project and to see if volunteering as a community scientist is a good fit for you. Getting signed up is super easy. There is also a slew of online training videos and documents to review at your leisure. If you want more information, go visit Idaho Fish and Game's statewide milkweed and monarch survey webpage, or you can contact Joel Sauter, Casey McCormick, and Tempe Regan at Milkweed Community Science at idfg.idaho.gov. That's all I got for top stories. Let's hit the rapid fire bulletin. Over 3,000 supersized trout, which average 8 pounds, are being stocked across the Salmon and Upper Snake regions. The extra-large rainbows were used in the production of trout raised at Riverence Hatchery in Mackey, who donated them to Idaho Fish and Game. In the Salmon region, the first batch of large rainbow trout was stocked in community ponds in the Salmon area, namely Johnson, Hayden, Kids, and Hyde ponds, at the end of April. More of these large fish will be stocked in these ponds, as well as those in Chalice and Clayton throughout the month of May. Down in southwest Idaho, a total of 8 instructor-led courses with open seats are slated to start in the next couple months across several program types, including courses for hunter and bow hunter combo certification and trapper certification. There are also some unique hunting and shooting sports courses being offered, including a brand new beginner pistol reloading course. Hit the link below to see the full list of upcoming courses and scheduled start dates. Fish and Game closed Chinook salmon fishing on the lower portion of the main stem Clearwater River from the Camas Prairie Railroad Bridge to Cherry Lane Bridge back on Tuesday, May 19th. Additionally, adult bag and possession limits on the remaining portion of the main stem Clearwater River and Middle Fork Clearwater River are reduced to 1 adult Chinook salmon per day and 3 adult Chinook salmon in possession. That's all the news we have for this week. Thanks for putting an ear to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin. If there's something on your mind, or if you got a question related to fish and game matters, feel free to drop us a line at podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Again, that's podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Thanks for listening, folks. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. We will catch you next week.